Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Agent Box. Every Thursday, 11 o'clock live from here in the UK. It's great to be on the show. My name is Sham, and my colleague, as always, is
Abir.
Abir. How have you been, bud? You been okay? What's been happening?
Yeah. Busy times, but we have been okay. How about you?
Every week I ask you this question. You gave me the same answer. Yeah, busy. What exactly do you do, man?
Yeah, I'm a busy guy. What do you expect?
Busy guy. Anyway, man, look, lots
I'm a manager about it, which is, by the way, you.
Lots happening. There's a lot going on. The sector, it seems to be picking up in terms of, I'm seeing a lot of posts on LinkedIn. Basically, everybody's a little bit excited about what the new government is talking about. I think we need to be a little bit careful in terms of our excitement. Obviously, it is good news that the government is pro-international student. It's very, very welcoming to hear that. It's a relief to hear that, to be honest. But let's not forget that the new Labour government is still under pressure around this net migration question mark. So I don't want us to kind of feel like, oh my God, great, we've got this really pro-government, they're going to come and do X, Y, and Z. And then suddenly they say and do something that we don't expect. And we think, oh my God. So I want to have some cautious optimism when it comes to what I'm hearing from number 10 and from the Home Office.
Absolutely, but I think the Radio 4 interview, if any of our viewers have watched it, I think that's a refreshing view. So what they're saying is that they're going to welcome the international students, but you're absolutely right. We have to keep our eyes and ears peeled to see what are the changes. And if there is, I actually agree with you in the sense that there are not going to be any fundamental changes, but bottom line is there that they're going to welcome.
It's a warmer message, isn't it? I think that's the main thing. It's a warm message to international students. It's a warm message to people thinking about where they want to study, that actually, the UK is going to look after you. However, I think for us as agents, the mechanics of how we recruit students is going to get a little bit more complex, I think. Well, when I say a little bit more complex, it's going to follow the same path that we were on, because let me tell you this, the government doesn't necessarily care about us as agents. Let's be honest. They want the students. So if you hear what the governments are saying, they're talking about students. They're welcoming students. They're not saying, oh, and we want you to work with whatever agents and lovely, yes, we love our agents and blah, blah, blah. They're not saying that. The agents are simply a vehicle to get those students in. So the message is for the student that you want to come and study in the UK, everything is good. But given all the stuff in the press about agents not being, very ethical, or, the fact that universities have to pay all this money out in agent commission, etc., because remember, there is talk of universities having to publish how much money they are spending on commission. Okay. Some universities, I think, are even voluntarily thinking that they're going to publish that anyway. But they might be required to publish. And all of a sudden, the general public, people, civil servants in the government, ministers in the government are going to be thinking, oh my God, right. So universities are paying out tens of millions of pounds. When you put it all together, probably hundreds of millions of pounds in commission. To who? This is when the spotlight comes on us, is when they ask, who are these agents? What are they doing? You understand? So
I think also from the university's point of view, there is a focus on recruiting direct students more. So we, the agents, I think, need to be on our A game to stay in the game.
Absolutely. I think anybody who might be thinking that we're back to normal, we're back, that just get as many students through the door as possible in any which way we can, this would be a wrong thing to think. Okay,
I think the bottom line is like we discussed previous weeks as well. You can get as many students you want through the door. That's fine, as long as they are not immigrant seeking or they seek immigration here in the UK. So as long as they're genuine students, you are more than welcome to put them through.
Absolutely, man. Look, I was speaking to our producer yesterday about this. That we know a student who came to study, paid his fees, no problem at all, but actually didn't finish his course. And I said to the producer, this is a problem, man. As far as the university is concerned, this is a major problem. So the guy seemed very genuine, and has paid his fees, attended class, but then didn't bother to finish the program officially. Okay, so didn't bother to, and took PSW, went and did something else. Okay, now from a recruitment point of view, there was nothing wrong in recruiting that student, but from a university reporting to the government, this is a major problem. And what's going to happen is in that university, somebody's going to ask the question, who recruited this student? Where did this student come from? Then they're going to trace back and say, right, did it come through an agent? Did he come through, whatever? And if they did come through an agent, that becomes a black mark against that agent. So this is how we need to start to think. And again, look, guys, we've been talking about the agent quality framework. And in fact, we want to touch on that a little bit today, because what I want to be able to talk about is actually the marketing side of things. What are we saying? What are we out there in public telling our students that this is what life is like as a student in the UK? These kind of things we need to be a little bit careful about. There we go. It's ensuring accuracy, integrity in student recruitment. And we were saying before the show, Abir, no agent out there is going to say, oh, no, I like to lie when I recruit students, right? Nobody does that. Nobody says that. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, right, I'm going to come into work today and I need to I need to find a good lie to get students in. So if you ask agents, if you've got 1,000 agents in a room and you ask this question, blanket, oh, is this right? Everybody's going to say, well, yes, of course. And my company is the best when it comes to this. Okay. But the proof is in the pudding. Okay. And I tell you this, I've said this before on the show. I've said this certainly privately, that universities actually spend time looking at what you're saying. Who you're saying it to, how you're saying it, what you're saying is something. There are people in the university that does that goes in, and these little nerds go and have a look, okay, to say who's saying what about the university, how are they saying it. And they will have a problem if, for example, you have stolen, and they are going to use the word stolen, an image from their website to advertise them. So let's say you take random university X, you go on that university X's website and you find a really nice image, and you control shift and copy that image down and you put it into your advertising. As far as the university is concerned, you have stolen that image.
But I'm trying to sell them, so why would they have any issue with that?
Because you need to get permission. You need to get permission. You need to ask them. And every university will give you tons of images if you simply ask them the question. But what they don't like is that you've just stolen it, because maybe that image was on license to them from somebody else. How do you know that? Do you understand? You don't know that. Okay. So
it's like coffee pots here in the office, right? So if I ask you, so it's like your coffee pots here in the office. So if I ask you nicely, I can take it off and have enjoy myself a nice brew. But if I don't ask you, you're going to accuse me of
guys. So this is an ongoing thing that I have with the guys in the office, that I like to have certain types of coffee, and I have little pods that come in a little box. Okay. And these guys, they know that this box is mine. Okay. They can't steal stuff. If they come and ask me, I'll give them a pod. Of course I will. That's a really good example, man. That's exactly what we're talking about. Do you understand? So this is something, guys, this is enshrined into the AQF, by the way, right? In the AQF, if you have a look at it and you go through it, it talks about, agents, being student-centered, I guess, and also how they are advertising themselves. And look, I've seen plenty of adverts, I'm sure. I don't know, actually, Abir, let me ask you this. Come on, you've been in a particular market, you've been working in that market. What have you seen over the years? What have you seen people do? What have you done that you might think is, university saw this, they might not have liked it? What, tell me something.
I was in a precarious water once with one of my partners, because as you know, there are quite a few pathway providers, right? So they represent a lot of universities. So me having a contract with the pathway providers, I didn't have necessarily a contract with the university itself, right? So I ran a campaign where I talked about, I work with this university, that university, you can apply through us, that university. And then A day later, I got an email, a very stern email from that particular university that I'm misrepresenting them. And I was like, what? But I'm applying through that particular pathway provided to this university. So what's wrong? And then I emailed them back, like, I didn't understand. What do you mean? And how we can rectify this and all that. And then I was told only I could have written this pathway provider representing that university. That would have done it. Since I did not quote that this pathway provider represent that university, I got an email from their international office, and it was not a nice email to have, to be honest.
I tell you something, Abir, man. I've worked at 3 different pathway providers, right? And I tell you what, that when we used to work the pathway providers, this was something that the universities used to say to us: that be very careful that what your agents, the pathway providers' agents, are doing out there. That that they don't want to see this kind of stuff. And when I've worked in the universities, absolutely, man, this is exactly the kind of stuff that the AQF wants to look at. So that requires us to have some deep thinking as agents. Exactly what am I doing? I've got an account, like a social media guy, that he does all the posts. I need to make sure that that social media guy knows what he's talking about and actually is almost fastidious in his approach to making sure that every single T is crossed and every single I is dotted in the right way. Look, another pet hate of mine, absolute pet hate, is when agents take a logo or take an image, right? Even a logo that we've provided or an image that we've provided as a university, and then they stretch them on their material, right? They don't, so you've got this stretched out, university logo or a stretched out image, and it just looks pixelated, looks ridiculous. It's a small thing. And when I've addressed this with agents are looking at me like going, what's your problem? It looks fine. No, it doesn't look fine. It needs to look perfect. Look on my website. Do you see anything like that on my website? And this is a very small aspect of what we're talking about here, but it's indicative, because what the university will do is say, if you can't use my logo in the right way, how can I be sure that you're telling your students the right stuff about my university?
Yeah, the universities can be really, really particular on these things. I have seen people getting told off because they didn't use the right color, branding colors, right font.
Dude, this is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Look, I'll give you an example, right? Recently, I sort of was working with the Pie News on a particular campaign that we've got going on with them from next month. They wanted to know from us, what are our hex numbers? Now, if I asked you this, Abir, so Abir, what are the SAMS Global hex numbers? What do you understand by this?
I think most of our Asian friends would say, what is hex? Is it a hexagon? Is it a hex key? What is hex numbers?
What do you genuinely think it is? Do you know what it is?
I don't know, but I think in my limited understanding, what I think it is, like different performance metrics.
No. Do you know what it is? I'm glad you said that, man. Hex codes. They're saying to me, what are your hex codes? What that means is, we're doing an advertising campaign with the Pie News, right? They want to know our branding colors. Every color that you use, okay, has a hex code, and they want to know what that hex code is, so that the branding is not just okay, looks okay, it is exact. But they've used that exact hex color, you understand, code, to basically match the advertising. Now think about it, that's coming from the Pie News. You would expect that. Do we as agents, when we're putting adverts out on behalf of universities, do we understand what hex, just a small example, you understand what a hex color is, a hex code? That's the level that the universities will expect. That the university marketing team is a team of people that, okay, that makes perfect sense to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? But let's stretch this and take it to the point where, if we're not able to do that sort of stuff correctly, how are we talking about the university? So when we say to the student, oh, you can get part-time work, do we actually know anything about part-time work at that destination?
No. And also how we twist the words in our marketing campaigns to get more students. I think we talked about this a few weeks back as well. Like there is a big interest in MRES right now in the market, so we are marketing it in a way. Oh, do you want to bring dependent to the UK? Let's apply MRES with us.
Yeah, this is Abir, this is a pet hate of mine. You know that. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is unacceptable from a university point of view, from a AQF point of view. 100% this is unacceptable. And what's going to happen is it's going to become a cardinal sin, right? And they are going to look to cancel contracts because agents don't know how they're actually. In fact, the government is going to come in and say, "Well, hang on a second, you can't do that." You understand? This is exactly what we don't want to do, and your agents are going ahead and doing that. This is unacceptable, and I think we need to pay attention to this. I know that this is something that most agents, they're not bothered about. They don't see this as an important part of what's going on, right? But I'm telling you guys that the universities, the government, this is so important for them. So important that you are not misrepresenting, the students that are, or you're not misrepresenting the university to those students. So being a generalist is no longer good enough.
Yeah.
You have to be specific. Being those agents that are specific and they're bothered about the detail, they're the ones that are going to actually come out looking like, because I'm not going to mention any names here, but you can go out there and you can Google some adverts from the big hitters out there, the big agents out there that we all know, okay? And look and see what these guys are doing and saying. You understand? Look at how their adverts look. If we've got massive splash on there, huge scholarships available, what does that mean? What kind of student are you bringing by saying huge scholarships are available? At the end of the day, and I know that actually huge scholarships are not available. If you want massive scholarships, go to the US, right? Where you'll get 50%, 100% scholarships available. Go and do that. In the UK, which is a cheaper place to study, by the way, than the US. So I would recommend students coming here every day of the week. And the universities are government controlled, which means you have a guaranteed minimum level of education, which does not happen in the US. Okay. But you're not going to get, 50% scholarship, 100% scholarship. You're going to get a limited amount of money that's going to be, given as a scholarship or as a discount.
The other thing that really gets on my nerve is when we don't differentiate between scholarships and bursaries. They're two different things, So when you talk about scholarships, it's mostly merit-based or other criteria involved, whereas bursary, it's like wherever you are. And if that country has a bursary, so we need to identify and tell the students accordingly. If we just generalize it as a branding as like scholarship, that doesn't make sense to me because scholarships are meant to be for merit-based as well.
Do you know what, Abir? Another thing that's just occurred to me as well, just you triggered it from what you're saying, is that sometimes the universities will put in their adverts, will put in their own marketing material that scholarships, 50% scholarships are available. What the university is talking about there, by the way, is not scholarships even necessarily from them. They're talking about Chevening scholarships. They're talking about scholarships that might be out there from third-party organizations. Okay, you've got scholarships for for scholars, if you like. That is a very competitive process, and that is something that is very, very if you have 100 students applying for that, you might be lucky and get one that will get that. It's not a lie, but it has some detail that if we as agents don't know, can't be bothered to read those details. Suddenly, if a university sends me, some marketing material that says, 50% scholarships available, alarm bells should ring in my head, not excitement. Oh, wow, yeah, let's get that out. Straight away, let's put that on social media. Oh my God, this university, 50% scholarships. No, I should have alarm bells ringing in my head that this doesn't happen. So what is this scholarship about? Let me take
always read the small prints.
Yes, let me take half an hour out of my time to actually understand what that scholarship is actually about. Because then in my marketing material as an agent, I can break that down specifically for my market. You understand? For my market, for the personas that I'm chasing, I can break that down and say, right, okay, yeah, this is what this scholarship is. But it's all of that. It stems from, you know, the sort of scholarships, entry criteria. You know, people are talking about, you know, oh, you know, IELTS waivers that are available. I've seen adverts with IELTS waivers on there, you know, no IELTS needed. Look, no IELTS needed. That is not something that any university wants to see on any advertising with their logo on it.
One of my key pets, to be honest, as well, like, you are coming to a country where English is going to be spoken. Unless you have stayed and studied in a English speaking environment, why would you even want to go that route? Because I tell you, my personal experience, I was supposed to be a bright student from a bright institution, had a good IELTS score, and the first 6 months I didn't understand anything my teacher said or my lecturer.
Hey, listen, Abir, let me tell you this. When I first moved to Scotland, right, and I'm born and raised here in the UK. When I first moved to Scotland, I had a trip out to Glasgow. I tell you this, I went to watch a football match. Didn't understand a single thing anybody said to me. You understand? I didn't understand exactly. I had no idea. I couldn't tell you. And all my
first job, my first part-time job, my supervisor was Scottish. So for 6 months, I just guessed that he might ask me to do this at this time, and just wing it.
just wing it. No, but you know what? You see, by you putting out an advert as an agent out there saying no IELTS needed, right? There are so many different ways of saying that. You might not require IELTS. There may be IELTS alternatives, right? Think about how your university is going to read that advert, not just your students. I guess that's the fundamental point here. That when you're putting out an advert, whether it's on social media, print advert, whatever, imagine that the vice chancellor from the university that you're promoting, or the bunch of universities that you're promoting, or even if it's one of your adverts representing 50, 60 universities, imagine vice chancellors, director of marketing reading that advert. Are they going to be happy with you? You understand? Because they're going to measure that against the AQF, and they're going to say, no, I'm sorry, this agency does not know how to promote. And don't be surprised all of a sudden if you're getting lots of requests for training, and you're like, well, why are they asking me to do training? I'm already trained. Well, they're asking you to do training because of something you're doing that they've spotted. Do you know what I mean?
Like universities has a separate team, like overlooking these things and monitoring these things. To our aggregator friends in the market as well. So if you are into B2B business, so it's your responsibility as well, I feel, that you monitor your partners, what they're putting out on the social media, and why not? Because the university is not going to hold them accountable because their contract is with you. So you need to monitor those as well.
And to be honest with you guys, if we're after, look, we're running out of time, so I'm going to bring it to a close in a minute, but if we're after decent students, right, these decent students in today's reality where people do have access to the internet, they can sit at home, they can Google all sorts of different things, they can go on review boards, blah, 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 whatever. The students also, you know, genuine students, good students, right, when they see an advert from your agency that says, oh, 50% scholarship, no IELTS required, da, 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 we're assuming that these students are so dumb that they don't know anything about what's going on. You know, actually, students that are genuine have done some research. They're going to find this quite unbelievable. And it's just going to tell them something about the quality of your agency.
Yeah.
You understand? And they probably will walk away from you because they know that this doesn't make any sense. I know that the scholarships, what kind of scholarships are available. I know, you know, what's going on, you know.
You're absolutely right. A lot of times our agent friends complain that, oh, we are not getting the right student. There is no right student in the market who just want to study. It is because what you are putting out, you are attracting the wrong kind of students.
Type of people. Exactly. So you're not doing yourself any favors here, to be honest. That you're not doing any favors from a regulation point of view, from an AQF point of view, but you're not doing any favors even from a business point of view, that you're getting the right type of students that are coming in, because what you're putting out there just looks crap. It just looks cheap. And it says, you don't know. You know, it's a bit like me, you know, if I see an advert saying a Mercedes-Benz, a 2024 Mercedes-Benz is being sold at, you know, massive discounts, 50% discount on this car. As far as I'm thinking, the car's stolen. You understand? The car's stolen. That's why they're saying 50%. You know, there's something wrong with this car, because I'm not that stupid. I know how much a Mercedes-Benz 2024 is going to cost. And now this guy's telling me that, you know, a 70 grand car, he's selling to me at 30 grand. that means he's stolen it, or there's something wrong. The engine's been taken out. Do you know what I mean? So again, we have to think of this from a 360 point of view, and this is what the universities want. This is what the AQF is all about, is for us to ask these questions, to take time, think, slow down, and actually get our advertising right. Look, guys, we're 25 minutes in. We've got to bring it to a close. I have to say, as I always do, that the Agent Box comes to you as part of SAM CRM. We're sponsored by SAM CRM, which is a CRM system that's been designed by agents for agents, right? You've got an email at the bottom, sales@samcrm.co.uk. Get in touch with them, and you can organize yourself a demo. And again, guys, we've said this over and over again on the show, that it's no coincidence why SAM CRM is sponsoring us, because we believe as the Agent Box that you need to have control over your systems, okay, and your processes. That if you don't have control of that student journey, and it doesn't matter whether you go for SAM CRM or go for another CRM, definitely think about investing in a CRM, because you will have further control that will help you to be more compliant towards the AQF. With that said, guys, that's it from us today. Visit our website, the Agent Box. We come live every Thursday. Visit our website, theagentbox.co.uk. Also, get in touch with us if there's stuff that you want us to talk about. People are getting in touch with us. There's an email address, theagentbox@gmail.com, and we've got a phone number. People are getting in touch, and it's great to hear from people talking about, sort of comments and stuff that they, say about, what we talk about on the show. But if there's a particular topic that you want to talk about, then please, get in touch with us. But also the other day, I bumped into a compliance, head of compliance for a particular university. And I mentioned to her, I said, look, would you be interested in coming on to the Agent Box? And she's agreed. So over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to try and organize something to get Alex on the show to talk about compliance. I've actually previously worked with Alex. She's very good. She knows what she's talking about. And it'd be great to hear from her what it is that she thinks, which direction she thinks the new government is going to go, which direction the Home Office is going in. It'll be great to get some ideas and thoughts from her.
Oh, can't wait for that. I think that's going to be a grilling and roasting session.
Yeah. I think, what we should do a bit, we should roast her. You understand? That's what I said. I said to her, look, Alex, I'm going to give you a hard time. She said, yeah, please bring it on. Do you know what I mean? So maybe we should do that. In fact, let's see whether we can get her for not next week, but the week after. Because, guys, next week's show is not going to happen, unfortunately, right? I'm actually on the road again. Abir apparently doesn't feel comfortable doing this on his own. I think that's a bit,
it's your show. I'm just
it's something that maybe we need. I'll have to talk to. I'll get the producer to talk to Abir. But for next week, look, we're not going to put him in that situation. We're not going to come. We're not going to have a live show next week because I'm going to be on the road, and where I am, it's going to be impossible for me to basically do the show. But we'll be back the week after, and maybe what we'll try and do, Abir, let's have a chat with the producer. Maybe we try and get Alex in for next week, but the week after, see if she's available. I don't know whether she's going to be on holiday or anything like that, but we'll see if we can get her in. And if not, it'll be the week after. I mean, but let's see. It might be quite interesting to have Alex in the week, in a fortnight, and see what we can do. With that said, folks, look, we've gone almost to the half-an-hour mark today. Thank you very much indeed if you're watching this live, and if you're watching it on a recorded version, then thanks for taking the time to do that. Hopefully, we'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, take care of yourselves. And that's it from me, Shamgani, and from my colleague, Abir. Until next time. Take care, guys.